Greetings, Actives, and welcome to our January 2023 Founders Call. It's great to be with all of you in this new year. It's hard to believe, David, that we are in a new year. It feels a lot like 2022, but it's not. It's 2023. So happy New Year, everybody. We hope that you all had an amazing New Year celebration with your loved ones, and it's just gone by so fast. And I'm holding on to some memories, looking at some pictures, and I can't believe that we're off to the races once again in a new year, and this is really an incredible year. So we've got some fun things to talk to all of you about. If you're joining us for the first time, David and I do a Founders Zoom on the 15th of every month, where we like to talk a little bit about the highlights from the previous month, what's coming down the pipeline. And today we're going to kind of give a little bit of a glimpse, not only what we see happening in January, but maybe the rest of the year. So without further ado, let's get this kicked off. David, hello, happy January, happy 15th of January, happy New Year. Hope you and your family had a great New Year celebration.
Happy New Year, Ryan, and belated happy birthday. I know this is an important month for you and your family, and so hope that was a good time. I know you guys are battling the elements with lots of rain and snow and all that kind of stuff. We kind of are here also, but overall, we're all doing great, and it's a great time to be at ACTIVZ, that's for sure.
That's right. That's right. Well, before we get into what is coming down the pipeline, what we see happening this month of January, and maybe what's going to happen in 2023, let's talk about December, because December, I mean, you and I have talked a lot about this. We've shared this on other calls and Zooms. It really was a great month for us, a historic month, on the heels of an incredible month of November. And I really have to, take my hat off to all the leaders that are watching this, and all the people who are taking this seriously and charging ahead, because we closed out 2023, I think, the best possible way. It was amazing. And as sort of a testament to that, we had some incredible rank advancements in the month of December. I remember getting text messages or WhatsApp messages, David, from people mid-December or the 20th-ish of the month saying, I've already hit my A12 rank, or I've already hit A10, as opposed to like the very end of the month. Like, we really had people focused. Their schedules, their calendars were full. I loved seeing the pictures and the videos of all the holiday parties that were going on, the Christmas parties. In Mexico, they call them posadas. And there were a lot of people that just getting together as teams in different cities, celebrating, the new year, celebrating Christmas. And it was really cool to see that part of our culture in full swing. And, I saw it on social media, and I just want to make mention of something real quick, David, is, what a way to attract people to who we are, to what we're doing, than having fun with your team, having fun with each other, and then posting it, right? Just showcasing it. And we don't have to do it in a, hey, look how much fun we're having. But, these were really authentic, very genuine posts that I saw of people getting together. They're all dressed up, and they're eating dinner together, and celebrating each other's successes, celebrating ACTIVZ. And that was really cool. That was probably one of the highlights for me as it relates to ACTIVZ in December, with just seeing all of that, all those cultural events taking place. What were some of the highlights for you, David?
Well, like I said, December was amazing. I was a little bit chagrined and embarrassed to admit that after such a wonderful November, where we just blew past any previous milestones or landmark levels of sales and profitability that we'd ever had before, I thought, December's going to be good. We thought we had some good things going on, and I expected it to remain strong, but I actually didn't expect it to do as well as November. And not only did we do as well, but we actually beat November. So we had, it's great to close the year with the two best months in the company's history, even though those months contain some, holidays that frequently take us away for several days at a time, and doing things with family and friends and others. And what was really amazing to me was we have our own back office, and we can track what's going on basically on an hourly basis. I think is as up to date as we get, sales reports. And I was checking in on December 31st, and there was some activity going on. I guess people were doing a couple of things. They were with family, they were playing games, they were eating, they were watching the ball come down at Times Square, and they were doing their business, because we had orders being put in at like 11 o'clock at night on December 31st. And it's sometimes I want to say, who are these people? Well, there are people, they're ACTIVZ people. And it's just amazing to me that people, instead of saying, you know what, it's the end of the year, we'll just start again fresh in January. December is going to be a wash. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Actually, just the opposite happened. So many people said, I want to use all of these get-togethers as an opportunity to really share. And that was just amazing to me, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. That was really neat. I'll say that, I want to give a shout out to a couple people who actually, along the lines of what you're talking about, just really, were focused until the end of the month, all month long in December. And the fact, frankly, that we beat November I think that was unprecedented for us. I don't know that that's ever happened in our 5 short years in ACTIVZ. We've had some pretty good Decembers, but I don't know that we've ever beat November like we just did. So, kudos to all of you who are watching this. I want to give a special shout out to Susanna Ortega, who hit A13 in the month of December. Had she or anyone told me that she was going to hit A13 in December, I would have wanted to believe them, but I probably would have had my doubts, David. But she did it. She did it. And what's interesting about Susanna, and I want to share this with everybody on here, if you don't know her, when I met her, she was a stay-at-home mom, mother of 4. She still has small children at home that she takes care of, and she still does. That's her main job. That's her primary responsibility, is running the Ortega Lira household. And I mean, she's incredibly organized. But here's someone who, I want to point this out. I was talking to her, actually, I interviewed her a week ago or 2 weeks ago on a Zoom in front of a large group, about 500 people. And she pointed something out, not to beat her own drum, but she said, well, Ryan, this year, what I did is I focused on always being paid at my rank, paid as an A12. She never, she was an A12, but she never dropped down. She wasn't paid as an A11 or an A10. She always maintained that rank. And by focusing on maintaining her rank, it got her to grow. It helped her grow, such that before the year ended, she actually rank advanced to A13 with over $350,000 in monthly volume, which is pretty impressive for a stay-at-home mom to accomplish that. So I just want to give a shout out to all the stay-at-home moms and single mothers and people who are pulling more than their share of the weight, or punching more than their share of the weight. You can do it. We've got great examples of success and success stories. And so I really want to take my hat off and recognize Susanna Ortega. For those of you who don't know, she's Martin Lita's wife, who is an A16, and they have a son who's an A11 and another son who is an A9, and their youngest daughter is 8. So she will be an A someday, but right now she's just an 8-year-old going to school. Anyways, what a great example. And then someone else, and just a quick anecdote about someone else. We have another A12 who is someone who hasn't done network marketing before. He joined ACTIVZ during the first year of the pandemic, 2020, and he hit A12 in about 6 months because he had some an incredible testimonial to the trifecta, to using the 3 products, Genomics, Optimend, and Link. And he was able to overcome some pretty serious health challenges he was facing. And if you don't know his story, you ought to talk to him about it. His name is Danny Pizarro. And so he just started to work his tail off. He and his wife, Nay, his brother David, his brother Omar, and he's achieved great things. Well, this last month of December, again, his second business center hit the rank of A11. So now he's got an A12, he's got an A11. His third and fourth business center, I don't remember what they are. I think they're like a 9 and an 8. But he's really maximizing the compensation plan. And so, David, I wanted to take this opportunity to not just recognize them, but if you're not taking full advantage of what's on the table for you in terms of the comp plan, in terms of maximizing your 4 business centers that you have the potential to maximize, I want you to understand the potential there, because it's tantamount to doubling, tripling, and quadrupling your earnings every single month. So, here's a guy who's never done this before. He believes, his belief, could fill this room. He believes so much in what we're doing at ACTIVZ and the lives that we're changing, that there's no stopping him. And I think that that's his superpower, is the amount of belief he has, and he's fearless, and he inspires everybody around him. And it's his enthusiasm is really contagious. David, you know him quite well, and you'd agree with me on that. So I want to take my hat off and give kudos to Danny for, in the month of December, for getting his second business center to the rank of legacy or A11 legacy, which is pretty impressive. Those for me are really the 2 highlights, the two people I wanted to point out in the month of December.
Yeah, that is incredible.
Yeah.
And one thing that's close to my heart is a rank advancement that occurred in Japan. Because of the COVID restrictions that have been in place for so long, we haven't been able to visit Japan. We haven't been able to do some of the things to help that market grow like it should and historically has. And we started seeing some really nice growth in Japan right before COVID hit, and then bam, and the doors are closed. It became this closed off country. Well, now that things are opening back up, Stu Carvalho, our VP of Asia Pacific, has been able to go over there, and I'm planning on going back over there for the first time in 3 years, sometime in the next couple of months. But anyway, we had someone join the company that we'd known before previously at another company, and great guy, and he hit A6 in his first month. Sales in Japan more than doubled because of what he and his team had done. And we had a Zoom call yesterday that was kind of like an active school that we do monthly in Japan, a seminar. And we had more people, about double or triple the number of people, over 60 people on that call yesterday in the wee hours of 4 o'clock in the morning, Utah time. It becomes pretty early morning, but it's just exciting to see these things happen, Ryan. And I think for those reasons and lots of others, I think 2023 is going to not only be another fast year. 2022 just seemed to zoom by, man. It just seemed it's like it was here and it was gone. So I'm sure 2023 is going to do the same thing. But I also think it's going to be a wonderful year. I think we're going to see a lot more stories like Susie and Danny and others. And I think that's really the funnest part of this, isn't it? I mean, it's great to talk about sales revenue and profits and all that kind of stuff, but it's a lot more fun to hear the personal stories associated with those things and the rank advancements. I think about the fact that most companies are judged by their sales, their profitability, and during this time, a lot of companies in the direct sales industry are going backwards. They're not succeeding. They're declining for a number of reasons. And for us not only be declining, but to be growing and thriving is great. I think of the fact that we have rank advancements, we have sales levels, but it's interesting to me also, and I think is very cool, is that we had 30,000 new people join ACTIVZ in 2022, and we had hundreds of thousands of products being distributed and consumed throughout the world. And I think about, man, all of these lives are being changed just because someone decided to share ACTIVZ with a friend. And really, you think about that ripple effect, that domino effect, that physical health, financial health, mental health, and because of those three, emotional health gets better because somebody decided to not take no for an answer, to not say, oh, I'm just this or I'm just that, and thought instead of what they could be and what they could help others be. And that's what's going to be fun to see in 2023.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited hearing you talk about that, David. And it's not like we haven't talked about that a lot. But 2023 is going to be incredible. I'm listening to you talk, and I'm kind of just thinking about how things are going to play out this year. I mean, it's new markets, new products, new technologies. If there's any doubt whether or not you're in the right place at the right time, guys, we are all in the right place at the right time. I want to just share a quick story, David. I don't think I've told you this, but without giving away too much, I did a Zoom the other day. And on the Zoom was the top earner of another network marketing company, right? And it was, a friend of mine, a distributor of ACTIVZ, a great, one of our pioneers that I've worked with for a long time, said, hey, can we do the Zoom with this person I've been working with? Anyways, long story short, got on the phone with this woman. I won't say which company she's with. An old company, started in 1985, actually, 84, and then restarted in 85. And we were talking, going through some things, and she's a top earner in this country, not in the US. And I started to look at their revenue that they had reported. And this is interesting, Dave, because some of you know that I worked at Newskid for 8 years, and I remember their growth trajectory, their first 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7, 8, and then they started to really grow in 1992, having launched in 84, excuse me. So it took them 6 years to with just methodically kind of like plugging along before they really started to grow. And this other company, same way. And I was looking at her, and she was the woman. I'll just say this. I think some of you have had this experience like I had. There's a lot of chest beaters out there. A lot of people like to be a little bit braggadocious sometimes with the company that they're with and what they've done, and and they leave a lot of truth out of a lot of the details out when they like to beat their chest and talk about how amazing this other company is. And and I was talking about what makes us different and unique at ACTIVZ, and why I'm so excited to be at ACTIVZ launching this company the way we've launched it. We started in Latin America, and now we're expanding everywhere. And talked a lot about omni-channel, but then I started to look at the sales of this other company, and I'm like, wow, we transacted quite a bit more than this other company in our first 5 years. Each year we transacted quite a bit more, and this company today is over $2 billion in size. This other company I'm talking about. And I shared my screen with this leader and said, what's interesting is you're talking to me a lot about our numbers. And I said, as a startup, we've weathered some serious storms, this pandemic that, no one could have predicted that. We launched in Mexico. We've been focusing on the US. We've had some challenges related to, just operating in some South American countries, things that are very much out of our hands that have to do with, geopolitical issues. And yet, if you were to compare us to some of these other really big, really successful companies, David, we've performed head and shoulders above them. And this just happened, and it was unexpected. So I was on the Zoom with her. So where am I going with that? Where I'm going with that is my optimism for 2023 it's as high as it could be. It's as high as it can be, because we have so many things that are behind us. Our toughest moments are behind us. Our greatest days are ahead of us. And just fasten your seatbelts, everybody. Hold on to your wigs if that's what you got up there. You can clearly, David and I don't believe in wigs. Hold on to whatever you got around you, because we're going to be moving very fast. Lots of people are knocking on our doors. We're doing diligence in countries like Ecuador. We're looking at Costa Rica. We're looking at some other countries where groups of leaders are coming to us. Taiwan's another one. Some other countries out, in Asia. And even Europe are coming to us saying, how can we get involved with ACTIVZ? How can we get ACTIVZ here? And some, as you mentioned, some really interesting product expansions, which I think are going to maybe be real game changers. So guys, fasten your seatbelts, but don't just sit there and be a passenger on this ride. Take action. These 24 hours that we're in right now are the most important 24 hours of 2023. And it will always be the case, right? Don't kick the can down the road. Don't say, okay, I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'm going to do this next week. I'm going to do this next month. I'm going to do this, next quarter, and see how things shake out. If you don't want to miss out on what's happening, if you don't want to miss out right? If you don't want to hear another Zoom and hear from us how there's another A13 or another A14, right, that just didn't quit, didn't throw the towel in, or someone getting their second business center to an A12, an A13, A14. If you don't want that to not be you, take action today so that that person is you next month, right? Can happen to all of you, can happen to anybody. It's just about taking action. Stop being afraid of what people think, right? On the other side of fear is freedom. I really, really believe that. And I have, we have hundreds, I'm not gonna say thousands, hundreds of people who prove that to me every day, right? Who I get to work with and who are our top leaders. The last thing I wanted to mention is I had a cool talk with some US leaders, David, the other day. And it was a Zoom, and they were talking about their excitement about the US market. And we started to talk about, what their vision was, what their goals were. I shared with them, what my vision was for the company and for the US. And then we started to talk about, okay, what can they do today to make sure that every second of 2023 is capitalized upon. And we started to talk about the momentum escape trip. And I said, you guys, if I were in your shoes, you know what I'd be doing as leaders? I would ask, if you don't have access to if you can't find these reports in your virtual office, ask your account manager for people who have at least 3 enrollments this month or 2 enrollments this month, and focus your efforts on helping them qualify for the momentum escape, right? Or people who had 5 enrollments this last month, November and December, and help them just find one person each and duplicate, and help that family, help that couple take a nice trip to the Mandalay Bay, right? Or if they want to go to Mexico, they can go to Puerto Rico too, right? We pay the same amount on a flight, regardless of which event you're going to attend. Get them to do that, and then I went on to explain what happens with people when they win something, when they earn like a trip, right? And this momentum escape trip, guys, it's very attainable by everybody. You don't have to be, an A10 to do this or an A8 to do this. I can be an A2, right? Focus on getting my business to an A4, duplicate with just one person each for each of my 5. And now I'm going to make sure I help that family get there. Remember, it's not about you going there necessarily, although that'd be great. Help families get there. Help them have an experience they'll never forget, because when they go on that trip, they're going to go home and they're going to talk to everybody. And then they're going to pass the baton, and they're going to help someone else do what they just did. And that's where your business will go into momentum. And that's the best guarantee that we can create for ourselves, guarantee that 2023 is going to be a banner year. So anyways, why I'm sharing that with all of you is because the other day with this small group of US leaders, I had that discussion with them, and they just got so excited and so animated, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is right. So, and what's funny is I heard from the account managers from Angie Hawthorne, actually she messaged me 5 minutes after that Zoom, and she's like, it looks like everyone you talk to is asking for the same report. So guys, don't hesitate to work with us, to ask us for what you need, right? If you need more visibility in your business, if you want to know, who enrolled 5 people last month, who enrolled 3 people, who enrolled 2 people, so that you can better discern who to focus your energies on, please don't hesitate to contact us. And guys, I just can't tell you how excited I am about 2023. We're not going to give any dates. We're not going to give any dates on products or markets yet, but take it from me, take it from David. We are excited. We've been testing a lot of new products and a lot of new technologies, which is why I now have a 3rd arm growing out of my back now. I'm kidding, I don't. But we've been testing some pretty interesting formulas and formulations for products that I think are going to be real game changers. So we have a lot to be excited about, and the future is very bright. So David, why don't you take the last word? What are you jazzed about this year of 2023?
Well, I just can't hold it back. I know we weren't going to announce it, but that hair and height formula that we've developed, it's awesome. I can't wait to introduce it. No. Okay, that's
wish. We can only wish, David.
It would be great.
Only wish, and yeah.
Well, like I tell my wife,
someday, when we're in our 80s, there will be a miracle product that grows your hair back, and we're gonna say, 50 years ago.
Well, like I tell my wife, if I had height and hair, it just wouldn't be fair. And at which point she starts to laugh and say, well, whatever makes you feel better about yourself. But what I am excited about in 2023 is that, as you mentioned, there's never been a better time to be part of ACTIVZ. Things are all coming together in a way that, frankly, it's taken 5 years for us to get there. And we've had some singular accomplishments along the way, but as the old saying goes, you ain't seen nothing yet. And we're going to accomplish a lot of things. And it's interesting, people say, well, what do you think this is all attributable to? Is it the momentum promotion that we're doing? Is it a 500 club? What is it? And I just say, yes, yes, and yes. It's all those things, but it's actually more than anything else. It's kind of more this critical mass of enough people who are really starting to believe and say, yes, we really can do this. And they're getting a little bit more confidence and a little bit more wind in their sails as they say, man, what they say about doing this on a consistent basis really works. And there is no real magic formula. There's just consistent effort and working smarter, not necessarily harder, utilizing the tools. In the ACTIVZ school yesterday, Angie demonstrated some things with the app that I'm pretty sure that most people didn't know it could do in terms of helping to schedule and take notes and things like that. So there's a whole plethora of tools at our disposal to your point of how we can help. At this time of year, everybody makes resolutions and sets goals and all those type of things. And of course, whether it be weight loss, overall improved health, more financial security, all of those things that are very commonly, resolved or at least wished for by people around the world this time of year. ACTIVZ is the answers to many of their resolutions. That's great. And I would just, I guess I would add a couple of suggest some resolutions for everybody this year. Number one, take the products every day. Take the trifecta, use them more every day. Because if you're not totally and completely convinced about the effectiveness of the products, you will be. So take it every day. Number two, share the company, share the opportunity, and share your feelings about the company every day with somebody to some level. Just do that. And then I guess number three, I'd say that when things get tough, when people have said no thanks and I'm not interested or whatever, don't allow yourself to stay down and stay disappointed. And don't forget how important, number one, you are, and number two, what your offering is. And please don't let others define the importance of what you're all about based upon their own opinion. Your importance, the company's importance is determined by things like research, experience, results, the activity. It's not based upon just some random person's opinion that they heard from their mother's, milkman or whatever. I guess we don't have milkman anymore. That's kind of a dated reference, but you know what I mean.
Wow. But it took us all back there for a second, David.
But too often we allow ourselves to get sidetracked by someone else's uninformed opinion. And so my wish for everyone is to resolve to let that negative stuff go off, like water off a duck's back or off David Brown's bald head, and just move forward with the things that drive you, that compel you, and that had got you so excited about ACTIVZ in the first place. And I guarantee that if you keep those resolutions, and even if you slip back, you start back on them again, that you'll make 2023 one of the most remarkable years in yours and many people's lives around you. So those are my suggestions and thoughts on the month that we've just had and the months ahead, Ryan. And man, I'm excited to be with you, partner. We're going to do a lot of fun things.
That's right. Great. Well, thank you, David. And thanks everybody for joining us today. We'll see you same time, same place next month. In closing, just a couple words here. We're all making goals. We're all hopefully looking at our New Year's resolutions, and something that I remind my family a lot about, myself a lot about. In fact, I've got things posted all over my office in here. But I think some of you will remember J. Matthias Alexander. David, you probably know who that is. He's an Australian actor and author who came out with a certain technique to change behavior. He's kind of evolved into a behaviorist. but it has a lot to do. I'm a firm believer in what he talks about. He says, people can't decide their future. They can only decide their habits. Their habits decide their future. So as we set goals and resolutions for ourselves, let's not look at inorganic things that aren't sustainable, that we're not going to be able to do forever. Let's just look at our habits, right? Because there's bad habits, there's good habits, right? And I'm talking about good habits here. So let's make sure that we are really thinking about, what are we doing every day? What are the habits, right? Are we making other people's loads lighter? Are we being kinder? Are we helping? Are we interesting ourselves in the needs and desires of members of our team? Or when we think about what we want? These are the types of things that I'm thinking about a lot as I'm thinking about my own goals. So I would encourage all of you to revisit that topic, revisit your habits, choose your habits, and let those habits decide your future. So all that said, thank you, David. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We wish you all the best of success and luck this month. Happy New Year, and let's all have a hugely successful 2023. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you at the top. Thanks, David. Bye now.